What's going on, my pupils? You can call me JJ, and welcome back to A Sight for Sore Eyes. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing our review/reaction to Season 5 of Black Mirror. The episode we're going to be looking at today is number 2. This episode is called Smithereens. A London rideshare driver ignites an international crisis when he kidnaps a worker from a social media company. Ever since I finished the last episodes from the last seasons, I've been dying to jump into some new Black Mirror. I don't know about you guys, but this was a show that me and my friends, when it was on, we were watching. We watched every single episode, trying to figure out if the seasons were just sporadic random episodes put together, or if it was a shared universe and the technology was shared and going out throughout the world. But yeah, I don't want to waste too much time talking, guys, so let's get right into this reaction/review. The way it's gonna work is I'm gonna watch the episode, and as soon as I'm finished watching the episode, I'm gonna run right back here and give you guys my reaction and then talk about the episode a little bit. So this is a spoiler warning for sure. If you don't already know, there will definitely be spoilers. But before we get into this episode, I think it's only right that we medicate and get properly ready for this episode in true A Sight for Sore Eyes fashion. Let's do it. Oh man. Oh yes. This episode was exactly what I was looking for. This is back to the official like Black Mirror style. It was really good. Definitely plays on the emotions a little bit towards the end, but this episode was super good. Basically, it's a guy who's using an Uber service, and he's camping out in front of this building that is essentially the headquarters for like an app. The way that it starts off is we see this guy, and the way that they're cutting the scenes is Buddy's a bit of a strange kind of character. You start getting an odd vibe from him. He's sitting out front of the store, and he picks up people, and you see people, just on their phones, not really paying too much mind to him. He does their little cab ride for them, tries to talk to them, but you get this weird vibe from him. You're not really trusting him 100%. And the episode continues in to where he picks somebody up in his fare that was like his targeted person. Someone he was looking for, but really it was just anybody that worked for that company. The episode continues, and this guy ends up kidnapping dude. The whole idea was he was trying to talk to one of the main guys of the company, and we see the situation go from 0 to 100.
That's my job, man. I'm just an intern. So why are you dressed like that? That's a suit. You're wearing a fucking suit. It's my first week. Modern fucking companies! Everyone looks so fucking young! How is anybody looking in supposed to have a sense of the fucking hierarchy?
And he ends up himself in a hostage situation with the police, his car stranded inside of in the middle of a field, and it's shit going down. The episode continues to play out, and we learn a little bit more about the main character, and we start to find out a little bit of background about who this owner of this big company is. And it was really tense. You don't really know which way it's gonna go, and as the episode continues, you go from thinking the main bad guy is kind of like some weirdo to finding out a little bit more about him, and as it starts to go, you start to feel for him. You start to empathize with the captor, who has the hostage. So the episode continues to progress after that. We've come to find out a couple of years back, his wife and him were driving on a highway, and earlier in the episode, it was talking about when they were searching up this guy's history. They were like, man, his rap sheet's clean. Like, there was an accident a couple of years ago, but he was the victim. We don't understand how this guy is all of a sudden someone who's taken hostages. His profile doesn't link up to like that. He's not that kind of there's no signs for it. And there was one point where they pull up his file, his profile, and you could see like main words that he used and the words that were bigger, like just breaking his profile down, and they had all kinds of just different details that they gather from his social media app and what he does on social media. So it was kind of cool in that way, a little weird. You're like, holy crap, like what are they gaining from me from what I'm using online? So it was really cool in that sense. So it comes down to it, the guy who took Buddy hostage, he finally gets a hold of the main guy from that Rand that owns the app that started it, and he tells him his story, and he lets him know, look, man, I was driving my wife home, and it was a long road, it was boring, it was late at night, and he said, you know what, and a notification went off on the phone, man, and he's like, you know, and he's like, the phone's like crack. He's like, I can't, you know, you can't put them down, and it's like, you know, I checked, and in the split second of me looking at my phone, I looked back up, and there was another car, and boom, they got into the accident, and in that accident, his wife died, and the driver of the other car died. But the driver of the other car was drunk, so the drunk driver got all the blame. And he goes on to talk about how his wife's mom at her funeral was like trying to console him, and he was saying, can you imagine that? He's like, you know, I'm the one who killed my wife, you know, but he's like, it was over a dog picture, you know, he's like, over a dog picture, I killed my wife. It's crazy. So it was really, really deep when you realize that was what happened, and the whole time all he really wanted to do was just to tell the guy who started like, you know what, man, here's some customer feedback for you, like, thank you, you know, for making the app as addictive as you do. And at this point you're like, oh my goodness, you're really starting to feel for the bad guy. And he tries to let the hostage go, and at this point even the hostage feels bad for him and is like, man, you know, like, because he's the guy was gonna kill himself after. He's like, I'm gonna let the hostage go and I'm out of here, like, you know, there's nothing left for me.
I know it was me. It was me, I was driving, it was my fault. Don't kill yourself.
And the hostage is even like, no, man, like, you know what, you don't have to do this kind of thing now. And you know, he tells the hostage to leave, and the hostage is like, no, man, like, you don't gotta do this. And he reaches for the gun, and they start struggling. But then one of the most impactful moments is he's talking to the head of the company, and the head of the company is like, man, like, you don't have to kill yourself. Like, is there anything at all I can do? And earlier on at the start of the episode, this guy met a woman at like a grief counseling group course that he was in, trying to have his counseling, you know, because he was supposed to go to counseling for his wife's loss. And this woman, her daughter committed suicide, and the woman has been trying for like years to get into one of her like social media accounts so she could see the pictures, or try to put together the last months of her life, of her daughter's life, to understand what was going on. And she's been putting in, she had like a book of all these passwords, and it was super, super sad. It was a sad thing, right? And he asked the guy that owns all these programs, like, yo, you know the guy that runs that app? Help this woman. So the scenes are ending as him and the hostage are fighting over the gun. We see that woman getting a call from that company. They're giving her the password, and she logs in to finally be able to have access to her daughter's, you know, the last little bit, so the mom can figure it out. And the snipers take their shot, and we don't really know if he ends up dying or if they killed him and the hostage. And it just leaves you in this moment where they're going through at the credits. It was like there was a picture of, like, after that shot went down, was like someone took a picture, because it was just going around to a bunch of different people, like a notification. People look at their phone, oh, put it back in their pocket and go back on what they were doing. And it was this eerie feeling of, like, you know, all that, he lost his life maybe, and all of it was just, you know, like right back into the cycle, feeding the fire, you know, just more clickbait and notifications for people to look at and go, oh, crazy, this thing happened, yo, you hear about that? It was really interesting, and it's so true. The phones are glued to our hands. How often do you drive and, you know, at a red light, boom, you quickly check your phone, you know, or lots of different circumstances, you know, I'm sure you guys can pick up 1,000. So it's super crazy. The episode really hit home, and it was right back on track with that super just like, oh my God, gets you going episode. I was the whole time right at the end of my seat, just like, oh my God, what's happening next? What's gonna go on? So a super, super good episode. It almost had me tearing up, man. I had my phone, I had to go grab my phone actually, just in case I thought I was gonna start maybe tearing up a little bit. I won't even lie, I wanted to film it in case I shed a tear. I wanted you guys to see the tear shed, but there was no tears shed, so you know I'm doing all right. I wanted to try to make sure that if there was a good reaction for you to see, that you guys would have saw it. But otherwise, I'm pumped. It was a great episode. I am stoked to see what this last episode is gonna be like. So far, it started off okay. It started off pretty crazy with that last episode. This episode was way more on par with what I like thrilling. And this next episode looks to be really dark, and I'm hoping it's gonna be... So, I hope you guys are really enjoying this series. If you haven't saw the last episode, make sure you go back and check it out. As always, guys, you know I want to hear what you guys think of this episode. So watch the episode if you haven't already, and if you have, put it in those comments what you guys think. Do you guys think he died? Let me know what you guys think, man. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. But I think that's going to be all the time we've got for today. I hope you guys like this response or this reaction review to the episode. The next one's going to be coming out soon, and that's going to be the third and final episode of this season. So Stay tuned, guys. But that's all the time we've got for today. So until the next time, I'll catch those eyes around the way. Peace.